Yes, I'm back. It's been a while. Shut the fuck up. Let's get on with it. Shall we? Shall we? Now, a couple of weeks ago, when I last posted a video, which seems like fucking ages ago, because I'm a useless, terrible human being, I said that games should aim to do as Warframe has done, the brilliant Warframe has done, and set themselves up as a live service or as a live platform for games. Now, not too long after I actually said that, in fact, one day after I uploaded that video, Ubisoft came out and told everybody that that is in fact what they are going to do with their games, and have actually started implementing in their most recent releases. Yes, in a quarterly earnings report Ubisoft released on the 12th of February, the French publisher-developer revealed that games as a live service not only produces a better quality product, but surprisingly, contrary to what I believed, actually makes more money than the current model. In a couple of graphs and fancy charts that Ubisoft sent out, they revealed that the current model of annualized releases actually hurts their year-on-year profit for a game when compared to games established as a live service. So a traditional Assassin's Creed game, for instance, let's say Assassin's Creed Cinder Prick, that is released and then left alone by Ubisoft, untouched by further development, will only recoup 13% of its first year sales on year number 2. Whereas these live service games that Ubisoft has been playing with, something like Rainbow Six Splurge for example, that has seen a constant hands-on development from Ubisoft, actually sees it make 53% of its first year sales in its second year. And that's mad, absolute madness. And furthermore proves two things. First of which is that, yes, I was fucking right, kind of. And secondly, more importantly, and I suppose more impressively, is that Digital Extremes were right. 5 years ago. They presumed that this might be the right model with Warframe, and they were bang on the money. Consistent improvement, releasing meaningful content, and actively trying to keep the player hooked actually works. Who'd have thought it, huh? Who'd have thought that would actually work? Well, I did, and so did everybody else that has ever played a video game ever. Speaking of Ubisoft's pursuit of games as a live service, Ubisoft co-founder and CEO Yves Guillemot said, quote, "These successes demonstrate that our differentiating strategy of combining long-term investment in our talented teams and our multi-studios collaboration model is paying off. This strategy enables us to deliver high-quality blockbusters while keeping our communities engaged through regular major updates." End quote. So there is no doubt then that this model of having less games released but more long-term commitments to those games that are released does work on a AAA scale. But is that going to turn out a positive overall? Well, from a business standpoint, yes. Overwhelmingly yes. It's going to satiate the investors and shareholders of big publishers more than the current model does, which I have to admit is surprising. But what about us, the consumer? Where do we stand in all of this? How do we fare in this probable future that the industry is heading toward? Are we going to be squeezed to death by microtransactions and overpriced cut-rate DLC? Or does this mean that actually we'll see more of a Warframe situation, where the games we enjoy actually keep getting better and better? Well, the only way we can really answer that right now is to look at what AAA publishers have been doing with games as live service so far. And I think a pretty decent place to start with this is with Rainbow Six Siege, a game developed by Ubisoft, where they seem to have begun this entire experiment.
We've run ops in 47 countries. When a job's too dangerous for everyone else, we go in.
So far, Rainbow Six Siege, almost 3 years since it has launched, has had what Ubisoft are calling 2 years of content. Each of these years has had 4 seasons or content drops, and now a new third year of content is about to begin. With each of those seasons that has come and gone, a bunch of game improvements have been made, new operators have been released, and fresh maps have been thrown into the mix for good measure. Essentially, Ubisoft has built up the base game of Rainbow Six Siege, one that got criticised for being quite devoid of content, into something quite substantial. Today, Rainbow Six Siege still clings onto its popularity with a fairly established player base and a growing relevance within esports circles. There is one issue with Rainbow Six Siege though, one issue that can be taken as a fairly contentious one, and that is in the way in which it delivers that DLC content to its players. First off, all the maps are free per each season, so no problem there. Thank you very fucking much, Mr. Clancy. Good work. Is he dead? I think he's dead, isn't he, Tom Clancy? The problem lies with the new operators that get released come each season. Operators that require a purchase to the tune of 25,000 renown. Renown that you can in fact earn in-game. That 25,000 renown price tag, however, is so hefty that according to some of Siege's online community, can take anywhere between 15 and 30 hours of gameplay to earn. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where Ubisoft dips its toes into those shitty practices that AAA publishers have become infamous for in recent years. These operators are also made purchasable with Rainbow Six Siege's premium currency. Yay! Premium currency, everyone's favourite fucking game mechanic. Or by purchasing a yearly season pass that you have to buy every fucking year for 25 quid. That's 25 quid for 8 new characters. Every goddamn year. That's if Ubisoft can be arsed, of course. They didn't even bother in the second season of Year 2. They just called general maintenance and patchwork of the game additional content. They genuinely called an update to their broken fucking game DLC. Cunts. So despite Ubisoft's goodwill and half-arsed efforts at turning Rainbow Six Siege into a decent game, which by all accounts it is, they still can't resist gating off content behind a ridiculous amount of grind time that directs players towards spending more money. All for a bloke whose tactical gear is a slightly different shade of grey than the one that comes with the game as standard. So yeah, nice try Ubisoft, but not exactly the bright future we were hoping for, is it? No. Not at all. So what about their latest offering then? Assassin's Creed Origins. Only been out a little while, but big plans, right? Yes, my friend. Very big plans. So far, Ubisoft has 2 planned paid DLC updates for Assassin's Creed Origins, one of which has already dropped. The Hidden Ones expansion that came out just a few weeks ago extends the story and world of Origins and has already been receiving some positive reviews. The next paid DLC, available in March, is called The Curse of the Pharaohs, that sees Bayek journey into a more supernatural setting, exploring the myths and mysteries of ancient Egypt. These 2 DLCs are available via the Season Pass, priced at £32.99, or individually at $7.99 for the Hidden Ones, and probably around £15.99 for the Curse of the Pharaohs, if my guess is correct. As for free content, well, that comes in a couple of different forms. Most notably is the Discovery Tour DLC, which will be free for all players in February, and is a giant history lesson surrounding Egypt and the landmarks within the game. Then there's the timed event stuff Ubisoft has on rotation within the game itself. There is the Trials of the Gods, which has been ongoing since release, giving players the chance to fight various gargantuan Egyptian gods. And then there is the Nomad's Bazaar that can be found in-game and offers up daily challenges to unlock some unique weapons. All in all, it's a fairly decent effort that isn't shrouded in too much dickery. Sure, there's some loot box bullshit at the Nomad's Bazaar, there's some cool weapons that are locked behind premium currency, and for some reason the Season Pass is more expensive than the individual DLCs. I don't know why that is. But on the whole, Assassin's Creed Origins is a very okay example of what a live service, especially in a single-player game, could look like. I mean, the paid-for DLC does boast some hefty content in an already content-rich game, and for those of us who don't want to spend any more money, well, the base game does have enough new challenges on the horizon that can keep you hooked. If this means then that Origins is going to be around for the next 3 years, rather than another piece of annualised Assassin's Creed nonsense, then I'm in. I'd much rather be forking out $15.99 every 6 months or so for a new piece of quality Assassin's Creed content in a game that I'm actually invested in, rather than £50 on a yearly basis for a barely okay rush job. So of these 2 Ubisoft examples then, it would seem that their latter attempt does stand as something a little more palatable than anything else they've done. Sure, it's not perfect, there are flaws with it, I'll grant you that, there are definite flaws with this system. But it's a damn sight more appealing than the current model that we're drowning in. But there is one game that has become the granddaddy of games as live service. One that has seen the most success and one that no doubt these AAA publishers desperately want to replicate. And that game is Grand Theft Auto 5.
Why did I move here? I guess it was the weather. Or I don't know, that thing, that magic.
GTA 5's online mode has become a massive hit in recent years, surpassing everybody's expectations and leaving the game still sitting pretty in every chart conceivable almost 5 years after its release. It is a success story that is as baffling as it is impressive, especially considering how this upward trend is showing no signs of slowing. And all of this is solely down to how Rockstar has continued to implement new content, and how that implementation has kept GTA 5 ticking over as a live service. New vehicles, new missions, new weapons, new properties, new game modes and new races are just a few examples of the literal fuck ton of content that Rockstar has been pumping into GTA 5 for the better part of its time on the market. And yet, every single set of new heist missions, every weird and wonderful vehicle, and every single Hot Wheels-esque stunt race is dropped into this game for absolutely free. You have to spend literally zero money in Grand Theft Auto 5 to experience all the madness it has to offer. In fact, the only thing Rockstar has on offer to buy are their in-game credit cards, which give you the cash to buy all the properties and weapons you desire. And that's in-game cash that isn't actually a secondary nor premium currency, and one that you can earn in-game by doing literally anything. No, I mean anything. I mean, you get money for doing anything in this game, even failing at a race. You could come last in a race and still make money. Rockstar simply understood the balance it needed to find with GTA 5. A balance between the business of games and their artistic integrity. They found an incentive, a reason that encourages players to spend more money. One that doesn't feel like it's twisting your arm off. And at the same time, they have juxtaposed that with an ever-improving game that tells you that it's okay if you don't want to buy into its microtransactions. And that is a balance that a lot of modern games miss. Exploitative tactics against players, like locking and gating content behind impossible feats, may be good for business, but it's bad for reputation. Just look at the whole Star Wars Battlefront 2 debacle, and EA's current reputation because of it. As such, successful games as live service like GTA 5 and Warframe come from an engaged publisher and developer, one that listens to fans and actively tries to better their game. Then the inclusion of things such as microtransactions and paid DLC don't seem to sting as much. I don't mind paying extra for more of what I like. I don't mind rewarding developers' efforts if they put something genuinely positive into their game. I believe this model, in the way that Grand Theft Auto 5, Warframe, and to a certain extent Assassin's Creed Origins have approached it, should be the mark to meet. And that is a high quality, meaty game that has longevity, rather than a short-lived, shallow experience that asks for more money to fill it out. Of course, sometimes it's easy to dismiss that games are in fact a business that has to make money. Unfortunately, that means as a consumer, we have to make certain sacrifices. Sacrifices that we probably don't want to make. I mean, who likes paying more money? Honestly, who likes paying more money? Nobody. Nobody likes paying more money. I mean, sure, in an ideal world, we would pay a single flat rate for a game and get everything it has to offer in one fell swoop. But that's just not how business works. That's not how a good business runs. Business is always looking to find the best way to make more money, to make their product more profitable. I mean, even I do that with these videos. I look for ways to make these videos more valuable to you, the consumer, so that I can profit more views off them. But there is a right and wrong way to chase that profit. Integrity, reputation, and quality have to be prioritized over short-term profit if the aim is to make a long-term profit. For a long time, big publishers have been obsessed with the short-term profit, and annualized releases with gated content are indicative of that fact. But this move right now, this shift into games as a live service model, is geared more considerably towards the long-term profit, and as a result toward a more consumer-friendly, higher quality product. At least in theory. The fear is that this live service model goes too far, that it descends further into chaos and fully embraces the bullshit tactics of Rainbow Six Siege, Star Wars Battlefront, or even something worse. Live service, as promising as it is on the surface, opens up the door to publishers rolling out an even shallower product than the ones we are already seeing, and then filling them out over longer periods of time. Early indicators show that this may not be the case, but it is still early days for this new way of making games, and that door is going to look mighty tempting to those that sit atop these giant publishers. All we can hope is that they do not choose to step through it. And there we have it, short thoughts. The first short thoughts in a few weeks. Sorry about that. I've been busy. Real busy. So, what did you make of the video? What do you make of games as a live service? Do you think that this is going to be the future of the video game industry? Or do you think it's just going to descend into more and more bullshit? More bullshit that we, as a gamer, have to deal with. Come and let me know down in the comments below or over on Twitter @DarrellDoes. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you hated it and hate me and want me to suffer the pain of rejection. And until next time, my friends,